He smiled, and the world didn't know the monster behind his eyes. He could walk into a room and make you feel safe before the night turned dark. This is the story of Ted Bundy, the charming monster who hid evil behind his mask. A man who lured women with his charm and left only fear behind. Tonight, we uncover the shocking truth that even the police couldn't see coming. Stay close, because every smile hides a dangerous secret. The sun sets, but the terror he caused would never fade. From college campuses to quiet neighborhoods, he left chaos in his wake. No one suspected him, and that made him deadly. This is the story of how Ted Bundy fooled everyone. It starts in the quiet town of Burlington, Vermont, where Ted was born. Small houses lined the streets, and children played unsuspecting in the yards. He grew up in the shadows of normalcy, where nothing seemed wrong. The University of Washington campus was bustling with students, laughing, oblivious. Dusk fell on Seattle, and the streets became empty, echoing footsteps. Parks and public libraries became silent witnesses to his predation. Neighborhoods with white picket fences masked the darkness hiding inside him. Mountain paths and isolated roads would become scenes of horror. Even busy shopping centers held moments of silent terror. He moved through these places like a shadow, invisible to all. One of his early victims was a young woman named Lena, full of life and dreams. Lena was a student, dreaming of a future filled with hope and freedom. Her friends said she always smiled, making everyone feel warm and safe. She didn't know that her trust would become her weakness. Lena loved walking home at night, thinking the city was safe. Her family thought she was just an ordinary girl, unaware of the danger waiting. She was smart, kind, and full of life, everything he targeted. She never expected to encounter a smile that hid a monster. Lena's story is a reminder that charms can mask evil. Her life would never be the same again. Ted Bundy grew up in a home filled with secrets and lies. He presented himself as normal, even charming to family and friends. But his mind held dark impulses, growing stronger with each year. He learned early how to manipulate to win trust easily. Friends described him as intelligent, attractive, and persuasive. Nobody could imagine the horrors he would later commit. He lived in a world of facade, where appearances were everything. Teachers and classmates never suspected the violence beneath. He knew the power of looks, words, and charm to control others. His early life was a blueprint for the monster he would become. One sunny afternoon, he spotted his first target in a quiet neighborhood. She looked unaware, her guard down, and he smiled like a friend. The charm was his tool, his lure, and she didn't see the danger. He follows her, not with rush, but with patience and precision. Every step he took was calculated, every move carefully planned. The air seemed normal, but evil was brewing silently. No one noticed, not even the neighbors. This was the beginning of a nightmarish pattern. The monster hid in plain sight, leaving chaos behind. That day marked the start of his legacy of terror. That night, the quiet neighborhood would witness a horror no one could imagine. Ted Bundy used his charm to gain her trust, speaking softly and smiling. She didn't know that his smile was a mask for something dark. He led her to a secluded area far from any eye or ear. The air grew colder as fear silently crept into her heart. Every sound seemed normal, but danger loomed just beyond sight. The monster struck quickly, leaving her with no time to scream. This was not a random attack, it was methodical, calculated, and cruel. He knew exactly how to leave little evidence behind. By morning, the quiet street held only silence and horror. Detectives arrived to a scene that offered more questions than answers. The victim's friends and family were shocked and grieving, searching for clues. Officers noticed small details that somebody else might have missed. Fingerprints, footprints, and disturbed dirt became crucial pieces of the puzzle. Every witness was interviewed, yet nothing directly pointed to the monster. Patterns began to emerge, connecting this attack to others in the area. It was as if the killer knew how to stay one step ahead of the law. Every lead seemed to vanish, leaving the police frustrated and anxious. The community grew nervous, fearing the monster walked among them. Each new piece of evidence only deepened the mystery of who he really was. Little did anyone know he left a signature that was both subtle and sinister. A unique pattern in his attacks began to emerge, linking victims silently. He chose women who looked strikingly similar, like a dark obsession. He used deception, faking injuries or authority to lower their guard. The police struggled to see the connection despite the clear pattern. He moved from city to city, a hunting ground of his own design. Media reports added pressure, creating panic in every community he entered. Every step he took was carefully planned to avoid detection. The public began to fear even the most ordinary encounters. He was not just a killer, he was a master of manipulation and control. Police began to suspect a man who seemed too normal to be dangerous. He smiled, helped people, and volunteered, raising no suspicion. Friends described him as intelligent, attractive, and persuasive. He appeared everywhere, yet seemed to vanish when the crimes occurred. His name was whispered in the investigation, but no one believed it at first. Evidence slowly built, piece by piece, linking him to horrific acts. Detectives knew they were dealing with someone extraordinarily clever. He understood human behavior, making him far more dangerous than expected. Every interview and observation revealed a calculating mind hiding behind smiles. He wasn't just a suspect, he was the charming monster everyone feared. After years of investigation, police finally began to connect the dots. He had been using rented apartments, stolen cars, and false identities. Witnesses finally recognized him from sketches and news reports. His own confessions later shocked the nation with brutal detail. Every victim, every location, and every lie came to light. The charm that had hidden him for so long could no longer protect him. He was exposed as the monster who had fooled everyone for years. Families finally found partial closure, knowing who had taken their loved ones. The world saw the darkness that can hide behind a smile.
The community was left in shock, struggling to understand how a monster could walk among them. Families of the victims lived with a pain that would never fade. Friends remembered the women who were taken, holding on to memories of their smiles. News reports covered the story relentlessly, stirring fear across the nation. School campuses added security, and parents warned their children to be careful. Ted Bundy's case changed the way police investigate serial crimes forever. The public learned that appearances can be deceiving and trust must be earned. Victim impact statements revealed the human cost behind the headlines. Grief turned into anger, and anger turned into a desire for justice. The world saw that evil can hide behind the most ordinary faces. Investigators studied his moves, analyzing every attack, every lie, and every escape. They noticed he had a pattern, specific types of women and locations. He often used distractions, faking injuries or authority to lower victims' guard. His escapes from custody showed a calculating and daring side no one anticipated. Police realized they were chasing a man who understood their methods. Evidence from different states began to connect, revealing the scale of his crimes. His criminal behavior was both methodical and psychologically complex. He knew how to manipulate people, making them believe he was innocent. This masterful deception made him legendary and dangerous. Every detail uncovered showed a monster who was always one step ahead. Some victims escaped, leaving testimonies that finally helped police narrow the search. One escaped woman's story revealed the depth of his planning and cruelty. She described how he faked friendship and kindness before attacking. Photographs and personal belongings found in his apartments tied him to multiple victims. Each new piece of evidence confirmed that he had been hunting women for years. Detectives discovered he had moved frequently, making him hard to track. He exploited the trust of everyone around him, even law enforcement. His smart, charming facade fooled friends, family, and investigators. It became clear that he was not just a killer, but a master predator. Every revelation left the public more stunned and terrified. Psychologists described him as charismatic, intelligent, and extremely manipulative. He had an ability to make people trust him instantly. His charm was a weapon used to mask his dark impulses. He lacked remorse, viewing his victims as objects rather than people. His crimes showed both impulse and careful calculation. He understood human psychology better than most, making him deadly. His predatory nature was hidden behind a face the world found welcoming. Every action was designed to maintain control and avoid detection. He played a dangerous game of deception and predation. His psychological legacy became a case study in evil disguised as normalcy. Each victim had dreams, friends, and families who loved them. Their lives were cut short by a man who hid his monstrous side. Friends of the victims spoke of their kindness and laughter. Their stories humanized the tragedy, making the horror even more painful. Families found strength in sharing memories and raising awareness. Memorials were held, and communities mourned together. Each name became a reminder of the evil that walked among them. Their lives, though short, left a lasting impact on everyone who knew them. Remembering them helped the world understand the true cost of his crimes. Their memories stood against the darkness he left behind. Finally, after years of fear and hunting, the net closed around Ted Bundy. He was stopped by police for a minor traffic violation, unknowingly walking into his own doom. Little did he know, this would be the beginning of his end. Officers noticed his nervousness, but he still smiled charmingly. Fingerprints and evidence quickly linked him to multiple crimes. The public couldn't believe it. The charming young man was the monster they had feared. Media swarmed the police station, hungry for any detail of his arrest. He remained calm, facade intact, as the world began to see the truth. The first steps of justice were taken, but the shock had only begun. He was now a prisoner, but his reign of terror would not be forgotten. Courtrooms were filled with families, reporters, and a terrified public. He sat smiling, appearing the same charming man who had fooled everyone. Witnesses testified, each story painting a darker picture of his crimes. Photographs and evidence made the monster undeniable. He tried to defend himself, speaking smoothly, but the truth was overwhelming. Each confession and detail made the audience shiver in disbelief. The courtroom felt the weight of the victims' lives and their families' pain. Every word spoke of a monster hiding behind a charming mask. Lawyers fought, but the evidence was irrefutable. The world watched, unsure if justice could ever match the horror of his actions. He admitted to crimes in multiple states, shocking police and the public. His confessions were chilling, detailing crimes with cold precision. He explained his methods of luring women and hiding evidence. The nation listened, horrified by the depth of his calculated evil. Each victim's story was brought to light, painting a harrowing picture. He revealed secrets that only the perpetrator could know. Courtroom observers could hardly believe the calm monster before them. The public learned that his charm had been a tool of deception. Law enforcement studied his confessions to understand how he evolved. The shock was complete. The charming monster was more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The judge declared the evidence overwhelming, and his fate seemed sealed.
Ted Bundy's true nature was exposed, stripping away every layer of deception. He had fooled friends, family, and the world with his charm and intelligence. His confessions left no room for doubt. He was responsible for countless deaths. The public finally understood the scope of his horror. Psychologists confirmed that he was a master manipulator with no remorse. His legacy was one of terror, deception, and calculated cruelty. Yet, it also teaches us to recognize warning signs and be careful. The victims' names were remembered, ensuring their stories would not be forgotten. He had fooled the world, but the truth could not be hidden forever. Justice, though sometimes late, had finally caught up to the charming monster. Families grieved, but found strength in the truth being revealed. Communities became more vigilant, aware that appearances can be deceiving. Law enforcement studies on his case helped prevent future tragedies. His confessions served as a warning to all who think charm can hide evil. The nation recognized the importance of observation and suspicion. Memorials and documentaries ensured that victims' stories were never lost. Children and students learned to be careful even when facing charming strangers. His case remains a lesson in deception, control, and the darkness humans can hide. The world will never forget the charming monster who fooled everyone. Ted Bundy's legacy stands as a warning, a lesson, and a story never to be forgotten. Ted Bundy's story is a reminder that evil can hide behind charm and intelligence. His life shows how deception and manipulation can go unnoticed for years. Victims were taken, families shattered, and communities forever changed. Even the most trusting people can be targeted by those with dark intentions. His case taught law enforcement to look beyond facade and appearances. The public learned to pay attention to signs that something is wrong. Every smile, every friendly gesture may not always be what it seems. Ted Bundy's crimes were a combination of calculation, patience, and fearlessness. His confessions revealed the monster he truly was, stripping away all lies. Remembering his victims is the most important way to honor their memory. Families still grieve, but find strength in knowing the truth. The world learned to value vigilance and awareness. Memories of the victims live on, teaching lessons about trust and caution. Ted Bundy's case is a dark chapter in history, but one we must remember. We see how dangerous charms and manipulation can be left unchecked. His legacy serves as a warning and a lesson for future generations. Courts and law enforcement gain knowledge that can save lives. The world will never forget the charming monster who fooled everyone. Remaining alert, aware, and skeptical can sometimes prevent tragedy. The stories of the victims ensure that their lives and lives lost were not in vain. Ted Bundy shows us that intelligence and appearances can mask true evil. A smile or a kind act may sometimes be a tool of deception. Observing behaviors, not just faces, can reveal hidden intent. Psychological patterns reveal the methods of predators in the world. Trust should be earned, not given blindly, even to those who seem normal. Charisma can be used for good or horrible purposes, and we must recognize the difference. Warning signs are often subtle, but paying attention can save lives. Knowledge and awareness are powerful tools against manipulation. Ted Bundy's story reminds us that true evil can be clever, patient, and hidden. Education, alertness, and vigilance are essential to protect ourselves and others.
His legacy is one of terror, deception, and calculated cruelty. Yet it also teaches us to recognize warning signs and be careful. Remembering the victims helps us understand the human cost of evil. Courage, observation, and caution are lessons we must take to heart. Ted Bundy fooled the world, but the truth eventually came to light. His confessions and crimes will be studied for generations to understand the dark side of human nature. Each story, each detail, and each testimony builds the legacy of the charming monster. We learn that true criminal minds can be hidden behind familiar faces. The impact of his actions is a warning that charms can mask horrors. We must always be aware, alert, and mindful of the world around us. If you found this story chilling and eye-opening, hit the like button now. Comment below with your thoughts on how Ted Bundy fooled everyone. Share this video to raise awareness about the importance of trust and caution. Don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories like this one. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chilling documentary. Let us know in the comments which part of the story shocked you the most. Share this story with friends and family to keep everyone alert. Subscribe to join our community of true crime enthusiasts. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay alert and safe. This is the charming monster's legacy, a warning, a lesson, and a story never to be forgotten.